Bry Guy here. Hope you're sparkling and ready for another Pixels Refreshed. Today we're going to be looking into Mega Man X, one of my all-time favorite, I don't know, Mega Man games really. Play this game all the time, but I don't usually stop to look at all the pixel art and assess it, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Make sure my buttons are set up. Yeah, if you don't change dash to make sure it's on your left bumper here, then you're going to have a very, very uncomfortable hand by the end of the game. It's like no anticipation frames, just goes straight into the shot. Now, things like this giant sprite here, that makes it look like this goes overhead, that was impossible to dedicate like that much sprite to, given the illusion of 3D on the NES. Charge animation, pulls in little particles. Character goes, Mega Man goes all shiny. Also, these sprites, they break up into two parts, which, I mean, I'm sure it happens in some NES games, but it wasn't very common. You got the nighttime darkness fading in the scenes. They had stuff like that in some NES games, but it would have been much more like step by step instead of how gradual it is here. It looks like they get the majority of the terrain done with just a basic tile set. And the background doesn't really have much parallax to speak of other than just the primary layer. Big sprites like this, I mean, they had big sprites in the classic Mega Mans going all the way up to like, I think Mega Man 3, well, yeah, Mega Man 3 is when you really start to see them doing a lot of big sprites. You see some of them in 2, but this is going to take that even a step beyond, although that's not really animated other than the helicopter, so. A lot of flapping animations on the first level. You got like helicopters flying over everything. Oh no, what was that? Single particles that emit from the ground. Like virtually everything has a helicopter on its head, or other than the little bee bug things that have wings. That's just more or less one tile scaled up. This is another thing, having like the various states on this vehicle, so you can break off the top and ride it. Even though the wheels are rolling, I think it's just 2 frames. And cycling between them very quickly. Charge animation, you got the flashing of the character sprite, and you have the little kind of particles pulling in. Like the little electricity that shoots around that too. Okay. Looks like they did that with just an edge tile and a purple tile, and then the back side of it. Vile. Yeah, getting a big spread like this. Now you can't hurt Vile, so you just have to let him hit you a lot of times. But even that animation, the fact that when it punches you see its back, that's pretty nifty. It means that they can't just, they have to use more larger sprites in order to get away with that, and they can't just kind of move the parts around on it. You with this piece of scrap metal, do you think you could defeat me? The portrait sprites are nice too. They give a sense of who the characters are. So you get kind of like 2 realities. You get the base reality, and then you get like a higher level of what that character actually looks like. Mega Man's portrait, animated too. Not bad. Zero's. I think Mega Man's is better than Zero's. Zero's tapers in at the head a little bit too much, and the eyes get a little bit too close together, I think, in that portrait. You also get kind of like weird little blue, like stray pixels around the outside of the gem. Anyways, let's just skip this. Okay. Oh, let's do Cho Penguin. Got all these beautiful character sprites. I like that shock animation. I wonder how they did that. It might have just been like a couple of tiles that alternate and then they zigzag as they come in. Lots of dynamic poses on the bosses themselves. So this ground, you got, I mean, it looks like just a tile set. A couple. It's a pretty. They have like basically your base tiles, and then they have the little snow ones for variety tiles, and then they just use kind of like a mix of them to create that. And the same with the ground they have going on here. They have the one layer of background, so not a significant amount of parallax. The sky, so you kind of see like this. They're not flat lines. It's got like little breaks and stuff, and the transitions in the sky. You really see that get to be like mastered in pixel art with like Owlboy. Owlboy did a phenomenal job with their sky. Pretty good at making it transition like you're going into this facility here from outside. Okay. These like tube, this little tube set that keeps coming up. Now it's like, I don't know, the jump from NES games to this, and like I played this as like an early SNES game, so that was the feel I got from it. This was like, I mean, other than Mario World, this is one of my earlier SNES experiences, but you know, it's such a big jump in aesthetic. The characters, the animations, like they're still like limited, but compared to the Super Nintendo, they're significantly less limited. They have a lot of light sources baked into the sprites. Even when they cheat, like this here, it's flipped left and right, so it's an identical sprite on the left and the right, but then they create like a light source in the middle, like there's some kind of special light almost within that itself. It looks like to make this area look more frozen, they have like a tile overlay on the previous tile set to add those kind of like zigzag frosted patterns. Nice. Transitioning back to outside. This background would have been phenomenal if they could have put a couple more layers of parallax into it. I just wonder if they needed a little bit more time to get used to the Super Nintendo in that regard. Like these little rotating snowball animations just makes it, you know, it's interesting because this enemy is only really on this part of the level, so they have this one enemy used like in this one little circumstance. It's kind of funny they didn't get a chance to use them anymore. Good use of tiles, so it's the same tiles here. It looks like they're probably like 16 by 16 tiles, and then they have another tile there, and they use that to create this entire corridor here going into this area. And this is cool because it's actually completely flipped from left to right, but they use that to create the illusion of 3D. A lot of pose changes on this boss, so like going from lying on it, standing up, to lying on its belly, and then it has that anticipation frame to let you know that it's about to do something. I love the animation for all of these bosses. That like a punchy breathe out animation. It has a and those explosions, so it's like the same cycled particle, but they use it over and over again. So they don't even animate the bosses dying, which is a mistake I made with Star Renegades, having unique boss and like death animations on everyone. But you have like the boss just stop, freeze frame, saving in a lot of animation resources, and then just explode a particle on them over and over again. Okay. Hey, let's get on to Storm Eagle. I like how it has the wing extension for its primary. This here too, you have like cycling between on and on for those lights. It's kind of, you get some weird breaks in perspective. Like here, it's trying to show you like side view for this area, but then you're seeing kind of like almost top-down view for that land, and then you're seeing side view for the mountains again. You are getting another layer of parallax with those clouds, which is nice to create a sense of like climbing upwards more. And then here you got an animated moving tile for that sky layer just to create even more depth as you go up. Oh, sorry, missed it. It's alright. Okay. Okay. Platform stuff here. Okay. Now, like, it's kind of weird because the texture almost has like weird warped movement in it to create an illusion that it's moving more. I don't know if there's something they're doing to distort it. This always blew me away when I was a kid, this little particle that blows up along there to give you the sense that that glass is really exploding. It's a 2-frame animation on the bottom of that to make the platform look like it's flying, but it does the trick. That old Super Nintendo trick you see with these here where it's shooting out just a chain of a fire sprite. You know, oh no. They did that a lot in Super Nintendo games. They just had like little balls of stuff, like, I don't know, a lot of the enemies and stuff in Secret of Mana had like their neck would be just a big string of balls. Like how they create the illusion that this is like a transparent hologram by just like flickering the sprite on and off. Yeah. 2 down, 2 to go. Nice. Okay. Climbing up here. This is kind of interesting because you see in the middle of this thing here, there's like 2 sprites. They're the only ones I could think of the entire game that look too big. Like there's the gray ones in the middle, and they're like wider than the other ones. Like, that looks like a mix of low res and high res. Not really the biggest fan of that specific sprite. Out of all of the sprites in the game, it's the one that's always stood out to me. I really like this moving sky. It gives you the, I don't know. For what they had available at the time, it really does a good job of achieving the fact that you're high up or you're on something big and moving. Like, and then they changed the direction of it here to make you aware that you're on the ship and something different's going on. So it's the same tile, the same sprite layer, but now they're tiling it down instead of over to the side. This boss is cool because it has so many state changes. So it has this one where it flaps its wings, then it transitions to its wings down, then it hops up, shoots this egg, now it shoots this tornado, and then it does the flying dash attack at a certain point in time. Let's see if I can get it to do it. This one here flaps, just emits a little particle along it, but it's enough to give the sense of wind and give you the indication to actually dodge. So it's actually really good from a gameplay perspective. I want to get its air glide. I'm kind of worried I'm going to kill him. Here we go. So then he has another state change, and yeah, it's a static frame with like, I don't know. I don't even know if it has a single frame of animation in it, but it's a nice change for the sprite, and they do a good job using it. So it flies off screen using their cycle, and then they can just dash down using that animation. And then they replace the entire big fin here on this stage. So they did a good job destroying this part of the top of the stage and giving you the sense that it blew up. It's a large sprite of Mega Man. Definitely a little off model compared to what they do with Mega Man later. Its eyes are a little bit too close together and some other stuff, but it's still pretty good. Okay. Flame Mammoth. This is a big sprite. I always like the big sprite bosses in Mega Man, like Frostman in Mega Man 8, and Flame Mammoth. There's a bunch of the ones that are significantly bigger. It makes you really feel like that one layer of parallax there is just enough to make this feel like a much bigger factory. Okay, this is the most annoying jump in the entire game, so bear with me. Oh, never mind. Come on. Okay, there we go. Same thing. I mean, so the sprite set for this is like mostly gray with like these tube corridors that they use to both portray the ground and to create these little tunnels. And just add visual interest to the scene. Okay. I like how you guys missed this. This was a lava scrolling tile, but when you're playing, after you beat Cho Penguin, it freezes the bottom of the stage, so there's no more lava on the stage. That's one of the cool things. I don't think they did that as much with the Mega Man X games after this. But this one, depending on which stage you do first, it changes how some of the levels actually are. So with this stage, if you beat Flame Mammoth first, if you beat Cho Penguin's first, it turns off the lava, so it freezes the lava. And then if you beat Launch Octopus first, it floods Chameleon. Sting Chameleon's stage. Come on. Okay. Nice. Okay. Like these guys, they have like, it's like 5 frames to get their throw off, and that's really all they do. I don't think they turn around. No, they just flip. These bad guys I hardly interact with. You can kind of just speed past them, but they do have a cool crush animation on some of those things. So they have their base things, and then they actually have a state that's crushing. This is kind of cool because they just have kind of a couple in-between frames, and then they are literally flipping it upside down, and it does a really good sense of looking like it's going in 3D around the pipes. These guys have the ball things again to make a sprite small and still operate in a way that takes up more space. That's the thing that I probably wouldn't do on a modern pixel art game. I would make the thing in the entire sprite, but some modern pixel art games still do that. Just fine. And that fire is just literally tiling through the colors. It's just cycling through 3 shades over and over again, and using that to give the illusion of I keep jumping at the wrong time. What is with me? Yeah, it's all done. If you have Boomer Quanger's weapon, you can actually take off his trunk, which was a really cool feature. I wonder how they did the sprite set so that they could do that. Because they would have had to have it being like an attachable thing, so I wonder what kind of performance that would be. I mean, they have no other enemies during the fight, so it wouldn't probably be too bad, but Super Nintendo still had a limit on how many sprites you could get in the scene. Okay. Okay. Boomer Quanger has some of the best music in Mega Man. I love the stage. Oh, I mean, this game has a lot of really great music, but this is one of my favorites. That dense, like, pipework sprite they have in the background, they did a really solid job just using that tile set to create that. Oh no, okay. What is with me? Come on. There we go. Little charge animation, 2-frame animation on the sprite. I mean, specifically this game and Chrono Trigger and Super Metroid especially, they really inspired me visually when it came to, like, look at this, just like these giant turtle bad guys shoot little parachuting bombs, which is really, really smart. they have so many different things, like each of these rooms. So we went through like the weird tube networks to this area to this. There's so many tile set changes in this to this backdrop with even more dense pipes. Oh, come on. They have this corridor that they get away with doing the art once, and then they kind of flip these tiles left and right here to build that whole thing. And then it gives it kind of like the look of, they do that with all these tiles. They do it with the pod part at the top, and it gives it the sense that it's lit from the center. So there's like a central light source. And then we come out here, and then all of the assets look like they're lit from the right. Because we would be outside, and that's where the sky is. Okay. Second. Stream messed up for a second. Okay. Almost at the top. Okay. I remember when I was a kid, I couldn't. This was like one of the hardest jumps, and I don't know why I felt that, because I don't know. I don't really find it very hard anymore. It's going from outside to inside. You have this cool cloud layer that disappears. Now we're back to using this sprite set again that we haven't used for a while, but it feels different. I think I counted 6 or 7 different complete tile sets just to create variety in this stage as you're climbing up. And this is one thing that Mega Man did really well, is they give you a sense that you're climbing up on a lot of the stages. So they do a good job changing the assets as you climb so that you feel like you're actually going up when you're climbing. Oh, I have to get that. Okay. Okay, let's give Boomer Quanger a try here. Change the tile set again. Like, I think they have this version but red earlier on, and they just changed its color to blue. But, yeah. Okay. So, big sprite. Nice key animation changes. So clearly the top boomerang is an element that they animated that's attached to the base sprite, because they have all of its main set and this other set of animation. So the exact same set with and without. So I think that means that they're like literally attaching frame by frame this, well, not frame by frame, but they're to be attaching the assets together. Oh my gosh. Stop doing that. Let's see, it's either gonna be me or him. Done. Same thing. Like, nice key animation pose change. It changes to like this extreme back thing, but while it explodes. Just single frame, but it does really good conveying that states change. Like, state change animations, conveying those can be really difficult, and sometimes it's stronger to convey it without actually having in-between frames. You have to make them punchier in between frames if you're gonna have any like a lot of frames in that animation. Otherwise, you're much better off just doing it as a single frame switch. Sometimes I rarely do that. I almost always add too many frames, but I definitely see the advantage of that. So they have, it's kind of interesting because this like, I guess this is a beach layer. I kind of always read that as another layer of sky, so this probably doesn't communicate as clearly as some of the other levels do in that regard. Okay. Bubbles and seahorses. Oh no. Oh my gosh. Not my best playthrough. Okay. Blow-in animations. Like, really, the only things that are animated on this are that, like, the fin on the one side and the eyeball on the top. And they convey quite a bit with just that. These fish are kind of interesting. They have an open mouth animation that sucks you in. And then when you jump in them, they have like an expanding animation that plays when you do that. Like all things that we would probably do through like some kind of deformation system now, they had to do by hand back in the day. I would like just trigger a sprite animation for it. Come on. Yeah. These guys can be a pain in the butt. I don't mind taking the hit. Okay. I don't need to get the health up there. It'll be fine. Maybe I should have grabbed that health. Right. Same explosion effects they're using all over the place. They're using again here to create that sense that this thing's falling. They break away a layer and they drop. And they have the little bubbles coming out. It's like air is escaping from it as it goes underwater. Okay, and you get these dragon bosses, which are like a bigger version of this ball thing that you see in a lot of the other games. No. Oh no. No, nothing for me. Okay. This is the health extension on this level. I think this level's a little bit more simple from a sprite work standpoint. I mean, I think this is the only time you see this background here. This dark blue area with the diagonal across it. Come back out of the water here. Yeah, you fight another one of those guys right here. You got these big pill bottles with a layer of parallax in the background to give a sense that this is like a big underwater facility. Done. That's such a nice sprite. It's kind of a shame that they're so easy to kill with that power-up. Because it is a nice sprite. And they have this, like, distortion effect. I wonder specifically how they're doing that. It's just like a Mode 7 distortion effect on the texture. But it does a pretty good sense of making that feel like it's distant and underwater. Alright. So this guy here... He's not weak against Boomer Quanger, but if you do Boomer Quanger on him, then all of a sudden he loses his tentacles and he's pretty easy to beat. So really nice kind of animation on the tentacles there, especially for Super Nintendo. I find on Super Nintendo a lot of... Super Nintendo and Nintendo, a lot of the animators, it feels like they didn't have a background in animation. They just kind of stumbled on, they're half decent at pixel art and then they stumbled on it. So you get some kind of weird animation in a lot of classic games. But Mega Man, their team clearly had a pretty decent sense of animation. Even just that like slight 1 pixel shift back with each shot was enough to give the sense of like impact or recoil when you shoot the gun. I like the hit animation when he feels aggravated and he pops his eyes open. Like closes his eyes and pops up one. It's like such a subtle animation, but it does such a good job of conveying that you've hit the character. It's like these little state changes. Like this game is like one of the quintessential kind of Super Nintendo games for me for having that like single pixel black outline on every asset and kind of using like a lot of the features. I think it's gotta be what, 320 by 180 game or something like that, but these like really nice big sprites. They're using a lot more colors than you would have seen on NES. Yeah, just like really good, like much better animation than they previously would have been able to do. I wonder how much parallax this... I think that the biggest weakness with this game is I think at most it has 2 levels of parallax, which they definitely have more than in Mega Man X2 and 3. I love this back tile. I mean, it repeats pretty often, but it looks nice. This, I apologize, this takes a while. No matter how good you are at this fight takes a while. Really, really nice animation on the hands, though. It's like just that subtle hand animation rotation. It was enough to build this boss out of. Now, I'm gonna something that I had trouble reading with this boss is the little thing on the top his head, or is the middle part his teeth? Because that middle part is either the teeth or the belt, and that was the most confusing thing about this sprite for me, because like those, either it's a one-eyed thing or those 2 gold eyes down lower would be the eyes, and the head is not the head. So I always read it the other way, but my kids read it the other way. So I read it as the head on top is the head, and that what could be read as a mouth is a belt, like a mid kind of section design. But some people see it completely the opposite way, and I can see why. I never saw it that way growing up, but now I do. And it looks either one of 2 things. It either looks more intimidating or kind of cute. It looks cuter if the midsection is all its head, but... anyways, that's kind of my mix on it. Almost done. Once it starts getting a lot of smoke, then it's near the end. Now, I've encountered a bug after this where the pod doesn't come up. And then the game messed up and I had to replay from that point. But let's hope that doesn't happen today. They're using dithering in the sky here to transition the layers there between the background. That's pretty cool. Okay, so armor is complete. And those single particles. I like the lightning blast that goes down and then the little sparkles that come off. That was pretty good for the age. To be able to do that on Super Nintendo is pretty amazing. So one thing they do really well is you see this little top layer of light. They use it all across. They save the lightest pixels for the surface that you're jumping on, that you can stand on. Okay. There we go. Like the little rotating animation on the health packet. Oh no, oh, come on. There we go. Okay. Slight animation, looks like 3 or 4 frames to communicate the top of the water. I never bother fighting these guys, but I mean, I probably should just to see their animation. Oh, 1 second. There. Let's do that again. Okay. Woodpeckers. Okay. Yeah, a little dithering layer right here to communicate that sky. It probably looked very different on Super Nintendo to play with that on a CRT. Now we get another jungle parallax layer. I like this layer a lot. That foreground jungle layer is really nice. Alright. This giant tree, they barely use it. It's a nice sprite to not use that much. I wonder if they build it out of the smaller tree. They might. Anyways. Yeah, I really like the purple. The colors there are really nice. It seems to have... This is probably one of the better examples of a game that has a very... I don't know, it's a very colorful color palette, but the colors feel cohesive. They don't feel like oversaturated or... the saturation's always where it needs to be, usually in the foreground. wonder how they did the hang animation. It looks like it's just a chain of square, of like rectangle pink chunks of tongue that cycles. So it has like a bunch of state changes. It has a hanging state, it has a standing state, it has an on-the-wall state. It transitions to invisible and becomes transparent and like distorts the pixels behind it. I wonder how they achieve that. Probably using like, I don't know, one of the layers that Super Nintendo did and just some like fancy programming. I wonder if that blue-eyed M there is for Maverick. Okay, getting there. Maybe a few more levels left. Okay. This is another big sprite. This one looks a little bit goofier to me, though. Maybe it's like the Christmas lights on the shoulders, but... Pulling back the big guys from the very first stage. Now, this whole level goes dark now if you do... if you beat Launch Octopus. There we go, I just need that. There we go. It's a little bit harder to play this level going darker and lighter, but I mean it's better than the electricity that runs through it if you play it otherwise. It's kind of cool that like this light trail reveals. They're using, I wonder what effect they're using in the Super Nintendo to dim the entire screen other than the playable sprites. Like, but then they reveal parts of the light with the trail on that. I'm not familiar enough with how they did their effects on Super Nintendo to know exactly what it is, how they pull it off. I'm sure like Modern Vintage Gamer would have a lot to say about something like that. It's cool that they have these like little arms that animate on this thing. It's a cool design for a boss. It's kind of a shame you don't get to see more of them. Sometimes they use these bosses in this in like a one-off setting and you destroy them so quick and then you don't really get to appreciate them afterwards. These cars are pretty cool in that they have this like little slide and flip animation that is really all they have, and that's successful enough to communicate everything they need for playable sprites. So they probably got away with that in like 10 frames or less to do everything that sprite needed. Like the beauty and the simplicity that they create in Mega Man X and some of these early Super Nintendo games, it's just, there's something really special here that, I don't know. I mean, it's very different when you make modern pixel art because you don't have the same limitations, right? You're choosing to be limited. So, and you can create some really cool stuff that they couldn't create, but it's a completely different look, right? There's advantages to both, right? I found that, oddly enough, that working in pixel art made me better at drawing everything. And it's just, I guess it's because it forces you to break down everything to like the most simple components and represent something so minimally. So if you can represent it so minimally, then you can actually extrapolate it to be something much bigger more easily than you would imagine. Ice. Oh, I like that they have the hanging wires. I mean, it looks like 2 16 pixel sprites, maybe it's 3. Yeah, it's 3 tiles, and they use it to create the entire top there. Now, this boss, I rarely get to see what their moves even are. So they have like some extremes changing there. They have jumping animation. It's mostly front-facing. I don't think that they do much. So there's like another pose it has there. Hanging pose. Oh, so it has a turning animation when you hit it to kill it, which is pretty cool. Creates a good emphasis of being hit. Looks like there's like 1 frame before it goes into that extreme. It's like one in between. Okay. Before we do, let's just go into this and get the health upgrade I had to miss. Rush through, so. Try to avoid backtracking as much as possible, but this is the only place in the game I typically have to. Okay. Almost there. Oh. Okay. There we go. Alright. That's all the health, except for the last one, to get the Hadouken. Nice. Like, it doesn't move its body very much, just its arms. Interesting sprite layer there. Oh, I filled up some health. Now, usually I hop off here and then get up to 9 lives before this, because this one here always drops free man. The only thing it can drop is free men, so if it drops an item, it's going to be a free man. Doesn't always drop it, but if it's going to drop something, that's what it's going to be. And you can use this part to get your health, your lives up to 9. Okay. How many is that? 8, one more. Okay. There we go. Oh, got a spare. Can't even hold it. Okay. Now I think to get the Hadouken, you have to beat the... basically get to the Hadouken without being hit, which I mean I'm not going to do here. Kind of want to get hit here because I want to go back here. Get this. Takes a lot of hits to kill this thing. It's possible we have to shoot really fast and lots of times. There. Oh, I still get the health. Nice. Don't always pull that off. Okay. So even these enemies, it's like they have the outline. Most of them have like the stylization is that they're lit on one side. So you can see that these hard hat guys, they have light on the one side of their helmet, not the other. So when they flip, it changes where the light source is because of that, which is fine. You're going to get that in classic games. And that's kind of one of the things that I don't do as much when I make modern games is I don't like flipping the assets for that reason. I'd rather draw them with the light source from the other direction. But you have to have lots of frames to spare for that. Okay. This one here. There we go, get the health upgrade. I like how they have this 3D kind of tunnel look in the background here. For that one section. It's not all over the place, but it's there. How many more? We still have to fill those up, so that'll be a little bit. I don't know if you need to have those filled to get the power up. So they reuse that same section they show in the cave in that one spot for the Armored Armadillo fight. Seems like a hand block animation. Once you knock the armor off, it's a lot easier. Doesn't have, I mean, he has the primary roll state change, but it doesn't have too much outside of that. You can actually hit him while he rolls if you destroy his armor. So, like, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's hard to even analyze this game because I've played it so many times, but like the colors and the perspective and the use of contrast, like they do such a good job keeping the foreground bright and the background dark, and dark enough for you to always know where you're going. And this is something that kind of can be an issue in some modern games. Okay, let's just go back and get this. I'm gonna use the shield. Oh, actually, this is probably the best place in the game for this. Look how many bats there are. You can get your health filled up so quick here. I very much doubt I'll be able to beat this stage without getting hit. I think you need full energy tanks in order to get the Hadouken, but we'll see. Actually played almost every Mega Man again this year. I was just feeling nostalgic for it. After my father passed away this year. Almost done. Okay, full. Double check, yep. Okay, now if somehow I can make it through this level without getting hit, that would be amazing. Need to switch this off though. Ah. Okay, doing my best. Run! Oh, maybe I'll do it, who knows? Nope. Messed it up. Anyways. Oh, I missed it. Oh, full again. Oh. Oh no. Okay. So just gotta get to the end of the stage again. Oh, come on. Nope. Okay, down we go. Try again. I like how it opens up into that, like, waterfall-esque area. It's nice. Use different lengths of different assets to create the illusion of depth. Oh, come on. I lost again for that. I am... definitely not getting it this time. Right. Try again. Alright. Oh, great. Come on. Are you kidding me? That is not good. Come on, Hadouken. If anyone knows like a specific reason that I can't get the Hadouken here, that would be great. Because I do it all the time, but I never know why it's a specific run versus another run. Okay. Yes, they changed his sprite just for this. Duke it. I like how that like goes over the hands. Like whatever part you're getting is the part that glows up. It's awesome. Okay. And these little waterfalls in the background. They're doing that same trick as before, where they literally they're not actually animated. They just are changing their colors so that they're changing the colors so that they like tile from one part and it looks like it's flowing water, but it's not. Okay, so let's do this. We got Sigma. Huh. So I mean, I don't know what else to say really. I mean, visually, it's mostly just a lot of well-drawn like sprites with, you know, good use of particle effects that they could do at the time, and lots of layers. A lot of unique tiles and okay. Okay. Like how they kind of give the hint that it's somewhat 3D there. Okay. Climbing up here, changing to like a green tile set here. Did they make you fight? Oh yeah, it's Vile here. So this is, you get to see some more of the sprite work. It's dash animation. I like just the pose for it and then the particle. So you just have this smoke that emits. Now, like nowadays, I'd probably do like 3 different smoke effects. So the fact that we have more texture memory means that we do more stuff like that. But, you know, it's fine the way it was too. It's just, you know, there's something about these games that are made with these limitations. Now, I don't think you can beat him here either. You need to fight him until he takes all your health away and then grabs you. Okay, frozen now. Get my health back in a second. Now, if you do this right, you can get him with one Hadouken, but it's very hard. Zero jumps out, jumps on his back, and self-explodes using the same particle animation we've seen so far, but now you know it's literally just the lying down frame sliding off. I mean, it is what it is, right? They only had so much resources they could do anything with at that time. Okay. He's not too hard to beat if you do miss. Oh, got him. Nice. I like his hit animation there, though. He's like hunched forward and shooting out of his back. Okay. Now he says 2 different things here depending on whether or not you get his blaster or not. He'll give you his blaster if you don't find the blaster on Flame Mammoth stage, but otherwise you he just says that you're as strong as he is now, or stronger than he was. Okay. Get off here. Got him. Okay. Oh, this. I don't know who designed this, but cramming. I don't think they do something like this intense again, where you have the chain guys on the wall, because that's pretty frustrating. But one more health, and then we're full. There we go. That's all we needed. Okay, let's beat the boss. Which boss is this? This Cho Penguin? Oh no, it's Boomer Quanger. Oh, can I hit him with it? Got him. It's the same, the lifting smoke animation is the same one they use on Mega Man's slide animation. I think that some of these assets, too, are ones that they use in Boomer Quanger's stage. Come on, open up. Oh, of course. I just need one more health in order to be able to do the Hadouken. Okay. Come on. Open up. There we go. Now this boss is pretty annoying. It's a nice sprite. Like, it's a big spider sprite. If you can hit it with the Hadouken before it hits you, you can kill it in one shot, but it's almost impossible to... especially because you're very likely to shoot. Yeah, exactly. Oh, can't do it anymore. That's fine. I'll just beat it the regular way. Takes a bit longer, but... Great. Oh, great. So it has a little like climbing animation that's pretty nice. I'm just gonna jump over. If I go over here, oh, I thought he wouldn't get there in time. Oh. Got that. Got him again. Ooh, it's getting pretty close. Okay. I like the little spiders, even though they have a pretty subtle animation. Oh, come on, stupid little spider. Should I heal or not? Oh, I should have healed. Big mistakes. Okay. Oh, come on, I did not dash. I Hadoukened. Anyways. Let's see if I can kill him a bit faster this time. Okay. Oh, come on. This is, like, seriously one of the most annoying bosses in Mega Man. Yeah. Should have just done this the first time. Oh, I slid. Come on. Okay. One more hit. Done. Okay. Not too much more to go. I rocked his socks, I rock. Anyway. Let's do it. The second stage, this one. Okay. Okay. Well, let's see how many of these I can beat with just the Hadouken. There we go. I love these big mech sprites. Like, I mean, they clearly elaborate on these a bit more in Mega Man X2 and 3. And that little turn animation they have on the character. It's kind of interesting that they're piloted by like a Mega Man-sized character intentionally. Pretty sure he's almost impossible to hit with it because he's always moving. You fight Storm Eagle here. Done. No, never mind. Another one down. Oh, I hate this location for an enemy. Seriously, it's one of the most mean locations they've... I don't think they ever put an enemy in a space like that again. Is this the boss already? I think it is. Okay. Now this boss, if you happen to make the mistake of running out of ammo on him, you're just done. Because he's only weak against Stink Million's weapon, so... Oh, great. Oh, come on! Oh, I did my dash jump. Well, we'll see. I might be forecasting something I haven't made the mistake of in a long time. It's clearly like a giant Sigma head, kind of. It's kind of better to defeat the eyes before you defeat the nose, because once you defeat the nose, then it stops opening up. Come on. There we go. Oh, come on! I dash jumped! Oh my gosh, I haven't lost on this boss in years, and of course, the one time I stream this thing is the time that I risk everything. It's pretty cool that they managed to do like a giant sprite like this, though. I mean, it's pretty much just a room as a boss, and really the three little enemies of the eyes and the nose and the mouth. And the reason it reads so clearly as that is because because of the eyes, nose, and mouth, right? Because they personify this room, it reads very clearly as exactly what they're intending. Okay. Oh, come on. Take it slow. There we go. Done. Sorry about that. That was pathetic for me, but hopefully I can be forgiven and move on. There we go. Yeah, you can see some of the economy they saved, even with the teeth, the upper lip part there. It's just one tile flipped over and over again. Alright. Who do you fight first here? Spark Mandrill? No. Oh, Armored Armadillo. Him, you usually can't get with a Hadouken first because... Oh, where is it? If you can do it, it'd be right here. Oh no, too late. Just... Okay. More of the same bad guys. Kind of interesting because, I mean, I wonder if it's like the economy of being able to, how do I word this? The economy of making sure you had big bosses meant that they might have had to reuse more enemies and stuff in the final stage than they probably would have liked to. I think he's the only boss you can't hit with the Hadouken at all because he's almost never on the ground. Alright. No, I'll give it a try. Let's see if I can one-shot him. Otherwise, I'll just freeze him to death. Oh, come on. You can see I was about to do it. Done. I feel like with that whole where they flash the stage to white or black, I feel like on Super Nintendo, sorry, on NES, they couldn't do that without making the, without more or less doing it to the entire screen. Like, it would be in stair steps, so it would like change one little color at a time. It wouldn't be like how it is there, where it's very gradual on this. Okay, can I hit him with a Hadouken? Nope. Nice. Okay. You can ride the ice across here, but There's really no point. I don't need the health or the life or anything, really. I think I'm at the boss now, and I don't think you can use any of... Oh, no, I'm not quite yet. I didn't get a chance to analyze Flame Mammoth. I was too focused on beating him, but... Anyways, it's a really nice sprite that feels nice and open when he does that gesture. I love how in his jump animation you see the bottom of his feet as he hits the ground. That's a really nice touch that just adds to the sense of depth that you don't. And not every character is animated equally in this regard, because I don't think you see that consistently across all the bosses. But just the fact that they have that one little illustration difference where they show the bottom of his feet is a pretty big difference in how much depth is perceived. I mean, this is different than doing like a modern game technical analysis, because in a modern game, a lot of the technical analysis is the method of which things are done. And I mean, to some extent it's like that, but a lot of this is just really well-drawn sprites, right? So it's a bit different when you're outright drawing things onto your space versus, you know, modeling and using kind of different forms of ambient occlusion or other techniques to try to create depth in your scene. This giant ball. It's pretty well done having this, like, this ball is literally just 2 images, no idle animations in any of that. They probably spent more sprite resources on the attack animation than they did on the actual boss itself. It's like its attack has more frames to it than the boss, as it's just a kind of sliding image. Is there any other stages, or does it straight to Sigma after this? Is there anyone I haven't fought? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Nope, this is Sigma. Okay, I just gotta fill up my energy tank. 1 second. Is that it? No, that was a free life. That is it. Okay. Okay. So this is where you get to see a bunch of fun sprites. This is the first time you're seeing the Sigma sprite. It's a little stumpy compared to later iterations of Sigma. This dog's pretty cool, though. I like its basic design. I think they're using the same sprites for its legs and its arms. If you do it like that, you can beat him without even having to fight his other half. And same with this. If you get this off perfectly right away, you can go straight to the last form of Sigma. So this is where you get Lightsaber Sigma. Done. Okay, let's see if we can beat the game in a few minutes. Getting close. Which is sad, because I didn't get to analyze all of his dashing, sliding animations, and this is probably the weakest in regards to animations, because the sprite itself is awesome. So you see kind of these big sprites in games like Chrono Trigger later on, but, you know, it's... Oh, come on. Okay. Great. One of these hands got to come down. Okay. Oh. Heal. Come on. Okay. There we go. So there's like this entire, I mean, the hands are more animated than Sigma himself, but I mean, the head moves around a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, this is really the end. This is the end of Mega Man X. So, anyways, apologize for the parts where I had little hiccups. Hope you enjoyed the ride. I mean, artistically, this has always been, I don't know, it's like the start of an era for me. I remember getting this game in, like, I don't know, 1992, 1991, whenever it came out. It was a Christmas birthday present for me, and yeah, I played it over and over and over again when it came out. It was a really great game. I mean, visually, it set a lot of changes for Mega Man. You go from, having much more limited animation and virtually no lighting in the base sprites to having kind of like the front light drawn into the sprites. You have, things with multiple states and kind of parts composing enemies and bosses. It's like Mega Man himself, all of his armor upgrades. So it's like all of these things are ways in which it was such a big upgrade over Super Nintendo was such a big upgrade over the regular Nintendo when it came to Mega Man. And it was really communicated well what the Super Nintendo had to offer. I mean, obviously people pushed the limits of Super Nintendo more later, especially with like implementing Mode 7 features and having much more parallax, because like there isn't much parallax in this compared to other Super Nintendo games, but still, like, the base pixel art still stands up today. I feels good to play it. I don't look at this and think it's ugly or anything. I think of, there's a lot of times I reference big robot sprites or whatnot, and there's something from Mega Man that comes to mind. I mean, just as often Metroid, but yeah, it's been a fun ride. This is bittersweet, right? Little dithered pixels to create more of a gradient there than they probably had colors for. And then walk backwards through your main stage. Now, that run cycle for Mega Man's really nice. Especially, I've been playing Dracula X lately. And Dracula X on Super Nintendo had a lot worse character animations than this. So, it just so happens that the Mega Man team was pretty good at intuiting how to animate. I wonder if they had any animation experience other than video games. But they definitely figured it out through the games as they were making them. I mean, this is mostly just improved on the classic Mega Mans in every way. So I really don't know how much else to say about this. I think they did a phenomenal job. I think the pixel art's pretty even throughout the entire thing, other than that one asset that you see in Storm Eagle stage. And I mean, the enemy animations aren't all equal. I think, some of the best ones are, Cho Penguin and Flame Mammoth and Storm Eagle, and then I'd probably argue that Spark Mandrill's a little bit weaker, and Armored Armadillo's animation set's a little bit weaker. But, yeah. A lot of trickery to assemble this. I wonder how much it was pushing the cartridge limits of, like, how much space they could literally store. In X2 and 3, they start telling you the power levels of these units as you walk past them. There we go. Yeah. Anyways, that just goes on to the credits, and then they have Sigma's head come up at the end. So I'm gonna call it there. But thanks for going for the ride for me. This was, it was a blast. Really, really great game. I mean, I still have my Super Nintendo copy of all X1, 2, and 3, and they hold a special place in my heart, and I think that they did a really good job setting an early standard for the baseline of animation on the Super Nintendo. There's certain games that come to mind as kind of highlights, like, for that specific era, like Chrono Trigger and, Secret of Mana, and other than there's a lot more wonky sprite issues and whatnot in Secret of Mana, but obviously on Nintendo's end, Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, and yeah, there's a lot of these games that just had much better pixel art than you were used to seeing at the time, and that looked like even comparable to some of the early PS1 2D games that you would see, although the later ones would be much better. So anyways, that was Mega Man X. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you do, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.